Okay. Well, we do have an email question that came in from Barbara, and of course we've dealt with DUI tonight, BUI, and I'm creating another one, PUI. Okay. I'm going to explain, I promise, or Barbara's going to explain. Barbara wants to know, what does the law say about driving while on prescription, PUI, prescription medication if there's no blood alcohol level to violate? Does an arrest just depend upon the officer's opinion of your condition?
So, Neil, in Barbara's case, she's actually going to be charged with what's called driving under the influence drugs. PUI is much more catchy, I'll give you that. But a lot of times people don't realize that driving under the influence can also include substances other than alcohol, even though that's the most common one. In this case, the officer could absolutely charge her with DUI drugs or DUI less safe, based on the fact that Barbara knew or should have known that she was not able to operate heavy machinery after taking that prescription. Now, it does benefit Barbara that she did have a valid prescription from a licensed physician and didn't take these substances illegally, which could have resulted in additional charges, including felonies such as a possession of a controlled substance. But unfortunately, Barbara, if you do have a new prescription, you don't know how it's going to impact your ability to drive, you want to make sure that you talk to your physician before operating any sort of heavy machinery, whether it be a car, a boat, four-wheeler, or even a golf cart. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're going to be responsible for something that you didn't know was going to happen.
Right. And Tiana, there's no breathalyzer for prescription drugs. And what happens in those situations where a person might be impaired, the police officer thinks they're impaired, and they think it's prescription drugs and not alcohol? How does the law kind of like prove that? Even if the person doesn't consent, how do they do it?
So in cases such as Barbara's, let's use her as an example and say that she didn't consent to blood testing. So there's no way to prove that she actually had a prescription substance in her bloodstream. A lot of times officers will get this based on the initial statements that the driver gave when they were pulled over. They may say, have you had anything to drink tonight? Barbara could have said, no, but I did take my prescription a few hours ago. Or she may say that she took Zyrtec or Allegra or some other substance that wasn't a controlled substance, but it still may have made her a little drowsy. In that case, the officer still has enough circumstantial evidence to conclude that she's not safe to drive. And DUI less safe is also a version of DUI, which means that the officer can't conclude that you are above the legal limit, but you are less safe to drive than you would have been had you not consumed any sort of substance that impaired you, which obviously would apply to most drivers.